Hey everyone, this is Gus with Acosta Media, coming to you today with another product review. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about a book that I recently read. This book just came out and it was written by Sheryl Sandberg and Adam Grant. It's called Option B, and what this book talks about is facing adversity, building resilience, and finding joy. For those of you that don't know who Sheryl is, she is the COO of Facebook. Sheryl talks about her story in this book. A few years ago, her husband passed away suddenly when they were on a trip in Mexico. She has two little kids, and the kids were not on the trip. And when she came home, she talks about how she had to break the news to the kids. She talks about all the pain she had to go through and everything, but she was also trying to get through this difficult time. I'm telling you, I dare you to read this book and not cry. Her story is pretty sad, but it's not just about people facing a loss. There's also other things that's talking about here, people that went through rape and racism, adversity, and other types of adversity. One of the things that Sheryl talks about in this book that makes it difficult for people facing adversity is that they do the 3 Ps usually. What people do is, the first one stands for personalization. What they think is they believe that we're at fault. So the person going through adversity thinks that they're at fault. So she talks about how she felt so guilty that her husband was, he went to the gym and she found him a few hours later near the treadmill in a little small pool of blood, and he was dead, and she feels so bad that she was not able to help, and that took forever for them to find him. And so she talks about how, the personalization, she was making this her problem, like it was her fault, and it totally wasn't. It was definitely like a massive, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, so you're going to have to read the book, and you're going to have to read the book. I'm going to post all the links below, and it's a great read. I highly recommend this. The second P that Sheryl talks about here is the pervasiveness. This is the belief that an event, and that is the belief that you think that this is going to affect all areas of your life. So we believe that because something happened to you, that you're not going to be able to go on. Everything else in your life is always going to be messed up, and there's no way to fix it. And what she tries to explain here is that things that she did that helped her out. And if you're going through a tough situation, I highly recommend reading this book, because it's definitely an eye-opener and a really good help for someone in a tough situation. The third P that she talks about is permanence, is the belief that everyone thinks that this will last forever. It is not the case. As difficult as it is, I couldn't even imagine going through something like she did, but we all go through tough times in our lives, and we have to get through it somehow, some way. Some goes through tougher times than others, but we all go through tough times. We all go through tough times. I'm gonna give you a couple of the tips that she talks about in the book, but not all of it. So you're probably gonna have to read the book if you really want it. But she talks about a couple things that helped her out a lot, and one of them was writing down 3 things that she did very well in her day. What would you do if you weren't afraid? That's the other thing that she talks about. So she would write those things down every night, and she said that this helped her a lot. So the major thing to take away from this is that none of us are going to escape troubles. One way or another, we're all going to face troubles in our life, and the best we can do is look for option B. And the only way to do this is to go through to talk to people that have been there before, that went through a similar situation that you went through, and take it from there. I mean, I've gone through discrimination while in school and things like that, because I had an accent when I moved here. I was learning English, and those are tough times, but you just get through it, and you tough it out, and you just can't give up. One of the things that she talks about in this book too that I really loved was she mentions in this book that I thought was really interesting about the 4 core beliefs that we should be teaching kids. And one of them is one of the things is, number 1 is they have some self-control over their lives, and she talks a little bit about it. And number two is that we have to teach them that they can learn from failure. Everybody has failed in life, and the ones that get through it are the ones that don't give up. You know what I mean? And she talked a little bit about that. Number 3, they matter as human beings. Number 4, they have real strengths to rely on and share. And she talks about another thing she talks about is the growth mindset, which is nothing new. I've read other books that talks about this. I cannot remember the name of the book right now, but if it comes to me, I will put that in the description as well. So what the growth mindset is, there's a fixed mindset and there's a growth mindset. The fixed mindset is that person that thinks that I'm not good at something and I can't learn. And I'm gonna put this as simple as I can. So the fixed mindset is that person that believes that you're born one way and that's the way, like you can't learn anything else, that, and they just think, that it is what it is and there's nothing you can do about it. The growth mindset is that person that likes to be challenged. You tell them they can't do something and they find a way and they keep fighting through it. And the growth mindset likes challenges, pretty much what it is. And that's how, and this is how everyone should approach. Everyone should have a growth mindset, because a way to promote growth mindset is, instead of, I'm guilty of this too, but let's say your kid comes home and you say, oh, great job in school and all that. I do that all the time. But what we could do instead, let's say for example your kid did really well in school and they come home really happy and you say great job and you go crazy and happy, which every parent does. I do it myself. But what we can do instead is say, I'm so glad that you tried your hardest. And what that promotes is it promotes that promotes your kid to keep trying harder and harder, and that you can get better and better. And other things that she talks about is finding joy after her husband passed away, as far as getting through the whole thing. And she talks about that. You would have to read this. So the question is, do I recommend this book? Absolutely. Even if you're not going through any adversity right at the moment, we all go through troubles, and it's just a good read. I read this in like maybe 2 days, I think. So I read this book in like 2 days. It's one of those, you just start reading, you don't want to stop. The reason I stopped on the first day is because I fell asleep. But I'm gonna put the links below if you want to check it out. And if this is something that you're looking for, if you need help in this area, as far as if you're facing adversity, you need to build resilience, and you're trying to find joy in your life, pick up this book and read about it. You're not going to be disappointed. She also talks about she tells a story about a guy named Steven who was left in a hotel room with his siblings. He ended up being like the Google recruiter, and he pretty much I know his mother left him. I don't know if his father passed away or something like that. I know he was like left with just his brothers and sisters, and he ended up being like a Google executive. So he got through it. I mean, the numbers out there is, most people, if you're in a bad family or something like that and you're facing a lot of troubles, is that you're going to be a troubled person. Yes, the number says most people will, but you can get through it. If you are listening to this right now, or you're going through a situation like that, do not give up. Seek help, and this book will do that. It will help you. You'll get through your troubles. Just don't be part of the numbers. So there's just so many stories and things that can help you go through adversity, and how to build resilience, and how to just pretty much not give up. The moral of the story here is do not give up. So if you so I'm gonna post all the links below. If you're looking for a good read, pick this book up. Warning, you may cry during the reading of this book, but it will help you. So I'll see you guys in the next video.